Over the recent shooting involving Albuquerque police.
And now the mayor says APD's chief spoke too soon, calling the latest officer-involved shooting justified. Now the chief is responding. A warning, the video you're about to see is graphic. This video and APD's comments on it have sparked major backlash from the public and politicians. It shows the deadly shooting of this gentleman, James Boyd, more than a week ago. He was a homeless camper with a knife in the foothills, and it looks like he turns away when the shots ring out. We stopped the video before he's actually shot there. Albuquerque's police chief, Gordon Eden, says he regrets calling the shooting justified before the investigation is done. That's what he said on Friday. Here's what he told us yesterday.
Well, actually, I was caught off guard by the question. Typically, you wouldn't expect that question that early in the investigation. It caught me off guard.
Chief Eden says the two officers here involved in the shooting, Dominic Perez and Keith Sandy, have been on standard paid leave, and they will be assigned to desk duty sometime this week. The chief says he supports the mayor's decision to forward the case to the Department of Justice and ask the Las Cruces Police Department to independently review the shooting.
More Albuquerque city council members are responding to Council President Ken Sanchez and his urge to have the feds take over APD. On April 7th, Sanchez could introduce an ordinance asking the Department of Justice to direct control of APD. It would need the votes of 6 councilors to be veto-proof.
There's nothing really that's off the table or should be not in consideration, but in order to give you an opinion, I'm not ready to do that.
Other city councilors said they essentially want the same thing, but they'll wait and see how the ordinance is written. Not Councilor Don Harris, though. He's against the idea. He says the DOJ can make up its own mind without a plea from City Council. Well, there is a public protest planned tonight against APD and against APD shootings.
And already about 600 people on a Facebook page about this protest say they plan to be there. The protest doesn't start for hours, but we sent our Samantha McDonald over to First and Central downtown. It's where the march to APD headquarters will begin later today. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Matt. Well, it's pretty quiet out here right now, but at 6 p.m. tonight, demonstrators are planning to come out here to protest. It's all about the March 16th shooting of James Boyd in the Albuquerque foothills by APD officers. Police Chief Gordon Eden says that 2 officers unloaded 3 shots each after a 38-year-old Boyd made threatening moves and refused to drop a knife. Gordon says police first used beanbags and stun guns to try to disarm the man. Boyd, who police say had a lengthy criminal record, later died. A police helmet camera video shows what appears to be Boyd turning away as officers unloaded with beanbags, stun guns, and live rounds. As we told you yesterday, that video's gone viral on YouTube, and the reaction has been quite negative. Tonight's protest is called Justice for James Boyd. A number of organizations will be out there, including Albuquerque Center for Peace and Justice. It begins at 6 p.m. and people are planning to march to APD headquarters. Back to you.
All right, thank you for the update on that, Samantha. Of course, the Boyd shooting comes as the police department is dealing with the U.S. Justice Department investigation for officers using excessive force and 3 dozen police shootings since 2010. Of course, we're going to closely monitor the Boyd case here on News 13. In fact, there's more to come in our next half hour this morning, and you can get the latest anytime at KRQE.com. A whole lot of people have been getting a whole lot of flat tires after dropping their kids off at one elementary school in southwest Albuquerque. Now, one neighbor is telling us he doesn't think it's a coincidence. Someone in the Alamosa neighborhood is littering the streets with bent hooks. When you drive over them, well, yeah, as you imagine, you get a flat tire. Robert Valdez has watched parents getting flats from his home across the street from Alamosa Elementary, and he has a theory about this. Listen.
We think that the tire stops down Coors are trying to drum up business. It's going to cost you at least $10 to get a flat fixed or whatever.
Police have been notified, and APD tells us they're on the lookout for whoever is behind these sabotaging hooks.
Efforts are finally ramping up to clean up that fuel spill at Kirtland Air Force Base from years ago. The spill was first detected back in 1999. Kirtland has been using high-tech equipment to suck the fuel vapor from the soil, then burn it off. Now they've added 3 additional wells to the system to help pull more fuel vapors from the expanded area. Crews are working to fix the problem as quickly as possible.
We're trying to take whatever course of action we can immediately in order to affect the overall remediation of the plume. The long-term remediation is going to take many, many years.
A study released last year shows the spill has not yet reached any drinking water around the base. Commercial spaceflight is a new industry, and the New Mexico Spaceport Authority has had to make a lot of adjustments along the way.
Yeah, the latest adjustment, plans for an elaborate standalone visitor center down at the spaceport. For now, that's simply not going to happen. Instead, the visitor center will go into part of the Gateway Space Building. It'll be about 4,000 square feet, and it'll have some of the same hands-on exhibits as the original plan.
It's going to be the same show. It's just not as elaborate a building on site as it would have been.
Center could open by September. The other part of the exhibits will go to an off-site visitor center in TRC. That could happen by summer of 2015.
Albuquerque's MCOR is teaming up with NASA. MCOR will be designing and making solar panels for NASA's new Cyclone Global Navigation System. The system is designed to improve forecasting for extreme weather events, including hurricanes. NASA will be launching 8 of the Cyclone satellites in October 2016. Earlier this year, MCOR had to lay off about 24 people and force others to take a furlough. We got a call into MCOR to find out whether this new mission will allow them to hire some of those employees back. We'll let you know when we hear.